Kung Fu Panda 2. Is it a good sequel? A bad sequel? Was it just a cash grab? Or did they actually continue the story? Well, let's get into that. And I'll just start off with the acting. I gotta say, Jack Black is once again hilarious as Poe, and he actually brings more to the character this time than before, but actually, he actually brings a bit of a dramatic tone, and it really helps flesh out Poe even more, and as well as Jack Black's performance. The returning cast once again bring their characters to life, and Angelina Jolie once again does a good job as Tigress. She's actually given a bit more story stuff and like actual acting stuff to do that's not as generic as it was in the first movie. Gary Oldman as the villain is really, really good, and he's entertaining. The voice is entertaining. It matches the Peacock. And the new cast actually do a really pretty good job in their roles, if not really standing out as much. Unfortunately, some of the old cast don't get to really act as much, and that's a bit unfortunate. The animation is even better than it was in the original. The 3-year gap between the first and second movie have allowed them to go even further in animation. There's a blend of 2D, 3D, and very different types of animation that really just help the movie stand out more. It really does make it feel unique in different aspects. It's not just so monotone throughout. The character designs are as awesome as they were before. The music is as good as it was in the first movie, maybe because a lot of it's from the first movie. Unfortunately, the sounds aren't as unique as they were in the first movie. Like, a lot of them, it's okay to reuse sounds, but it's not really too many new ones. It's just same old from the sound department. The story is better in some ways than the first one, but worse in some ways than the first one. So, and for example, some of the characters get more development in this thing, and many of the character interactions are like even better, dramatic, or even more funny than the previous movie. But unfortunately, some of the characters from the first movie, and even some of the characters in this movie, get pushed to the sideline a little too much, and they don't really get to interact with the main characters as much, which is very, very unfortunate, and it kind of leaves them underdeveloped. The story this time is very dramatic, a bit more dramatic and tear-jerky than the one before, which is good. But the pacing of the movie is a bit off. The reason for going to go fight the villain is really, really rushed. There should have been a little bit more added to that. And sometimes they really should just let the characters breathe, other than... Action's good. It's Kung Fu Panda. It has to have action. But sometimes there was a little too much action, not enough character breathing. The content of the story itself, actually, however, is pretty fantastic. It's not as by the numbers as the original. It gives you Poe's backstory, and Poe's villain in this is very personal, and he is just as good as the villain in the first movie. He's better in some ways, worse than others, but he's just as good. And overall, I think this is another great DreamWorks movie. I thought, first time I saw it, I thought it was a little bit worse than the first one. It wasn't bad by any means, but I thought it was a little bit worse. But now that I've rewatched it, I consider it about on par with the first one. And I would definitely recommend going out and seeing this. And other than that, later. Alright guys, here's some edits I added to the end of this video. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so let's get on with the next review of the Kung Fu Panda series, Kung Fu Panda 2. The sequel to the 2008 hit. Is it as good? Is it worse? Is it just a bad sequel? Or is it a good... I just repeated myself. Haha. Kung Fu Panda 2.